Well, hey everyone, my name is Nathan Jones, and if you're new here, welcome. I talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today we're going to be talking about Criterion. Now, there is an upcoming sale at Barnes & Noble, a 50% off sale all for the month of July, so I decided I wanted to come up with a list of 10 recommendations, and also, this just came in the mail right here, this Criterion shirt right here. You can kind of see the C logo right there. This came just in time for this, right? The summer's here. Criterion. Now, unfortunately, these shirts are not available during the sale. They are available on Criterion's website. So there are some beach towels and some different color shirts, just like all the spine numbers, right? And also during Pride Month, so good timing. But yeah, I'm very excited to have this shirt, but also jump into the Criterion sale. But before I jump into that, I do want to kind of talk about a little bit about spending in general. Obviously, this is something that everyone talks about. I've talked about a lot on my channel before as well. Obviously, there's a lot of sales going on right now. There's a Kino Lorber sale. There's been some buy two get one free sales at Target and Amazon, etc. There's a Vinegar Syndrome sale I just did too. That just recently happened. Luckily, that's over, right? I've been thinking about, okay, what am I going to pick up, right? What do I want, right? But also at the same time, I look over at my shelf and I see there's a lot of things I haven't seen before. And my friend Ken over at Mid-Level Media brought that point up as well. And I'm like, that's a really great point. I'm thinking about that myself, where it's like, well, how many things do I want to pick up? Do I really want to participate too much in this sale or not, right? And with how everything is going right now with the economy, with gas prices, cost of living, it is kind of a challenge to figure that out. And I also just fixed my AC, so I need to, relax for a little bit. So anyway, with that being said, I wanna pick your thoughts on that a little bit before we jump into these recommendations. I want to have some conversations with that. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this particular sale, at least this go around, right? And also, what are some of the recommendations that you would recommend to other people if they do decide to jump into this sale? I would love to know in the comment section down below. So now let's just jump right into my recommendations. All right, so for my recommendations, I am gonna go in spine number order. Some of these titles I have talked about in the past on the channel. Some of them are new, and I like to kind of mix it up here a little bit. So the first one I wanna talk about is spine number 7. And this is like spine number 7. It goes way back, but it is A Night to Remember. It's from 1958. This is directed by Roy Ward Baker, who's done some great Hammer films, of course, and some westerns and other things. But this is one of the earlier films he's done, and this is about the sinking of the Titanic. And this is an incredible film. Now, this is obviously a drama, of course, but I really love the balance of the tones in this. Obviously, everyone knows the story of the Titanic. It sank in 1912, right, on April 14th. Of course, we know the James Cameron Titanic, and I believe this is actually the second film of the Titanic. I think there was a silent picture, but could be wrong here. People could probably let me know in the comment section down below, but this is a fantastic film. I really love the balance of tone that Roy Ward Baker goes for here. There is a really good mix of drama, some comedic moments as well, and also horrifying moments because, of course, it's the sinking of the Titanic. So I just really love this. This is really great production design too, and cinematography, and the acting is top notch. So a high recommend is A Night to Remember. If you've not seen it, there's a reason why it's in the Criterion collection, and also at number 7, right? So pick this one up if you haven't seen it before. All right, now we're gonna move on to 1994, and this is spine number 289, and is a film that I absolutely adore, and also something that I wanna rewatch soon. And that is Hoop Dreams. This is a documentary by Steve James, and he is a fantastic documentarian. One, I really love basketball. As you can see, right in between this is The Last Dance. It's a big love of mine. I know the NBA draft just happened recently, so basketball's big on my list of things that I really enjoy. The thing is also, not everyone has to enjoy basketball, but the filmmaking in this is just so phenomenal. So it's about two kids in Chicago area. It is Arthur Agee and William Gates, and about their families and how really they're navigating that complexity of just understanding the socio-political side of things, and then also balancing that with college athletics and trying to make it pro, right? And seeing that struggle, and some of these kids dip in and out of that, and it's a struggle to see that, right? This is 172 minutes, so it's a very long documentary. But it also is incredible too. It's very interesting to see this conception of young boys, aspiring to something that they can get them out of where their current situation is, but also at the same time being that one of the only outs, right? Which is really sad. But at the same time, this is a film that really kind of showcases that, and also just shows the love of basketball, right? And so there's a lot of layers to it, and it's definitely worth a shot, and definitely was a joke right there. So check out Hoop Dreams if you've not seen it before. All right, so now we're going to move on to spine number 615. This is from 1925. Now there is a 1942 version as well. This is actually my favorite Charlie Chaplin film, and I'm talking about The Gold Rush. I watched the 1925 version a lot more. I know that Chaplin redid it with sound later on, and both versions are incredible, but I really love the silent version of this a lot. There is just some classic bits in this film. I really adore the bit where he's got little shoes and he's just dancing with them. There's a really great scene with a bear in a shack. There's a lot of hijinks, of course, as you expect from a Charlie Chaplin film. If you've not seen the Charlie Chaplin film, this is a really great place to start. Obviously, there's a lot of other ones that I would recommend, but this one holds a really special place in my heart, and I absolutely adore it. And like I said, both versions are incredible. So definitely check this one out. It's a classic film for a reason, and I definitely wanted to put a classic film in this list that I wanted to recommend to all of you. All right, so next we're going to move on to spine number 841, and this is actually the only box set I have in this recommendation list of mine, but this is an absolutely fun one right here. This is Lone Wolf and Cub. So this is a great collection of films from the 70s, and there's even one from 1980, which is like a combination of the first and second film of this set. But yeah, this is a really great set right here. As you can see, there's a lot of films in it. Lone Wolf and Cub, Sword of Vengeance, Baby Cart at the River Styx, Baby Cart at Hades, Baby Cart in Peril, Baby Cart in the Land of Demons, White Heaven and Hell, which is 6, and then, like I said, there's also Shogun Assassin, which is the 1980 version of the first two films, kind of spliced together and dubbed in English. Also, that's the beginning of Jiz's Liquid Swords, which is fantastic too. There's a little reference there to some Wu-Tang. But this is incredible. I've been huge into martial arts this month, so as I've been watching a lot of these Hong Kong and Taiwanese films, I've been like thinking about the Japanese films that I've seen previously and thinking like, man, I kind of just want to rewatch these things. So what better time to talk about them than now to recommend it? So this is a ton of fun. Highly recommend it. Not just for the box set art alone, but these films are really fun. So definitely check out Lone Wolf and Cub if you've not seen it, and yeah, enjoy the ride. All right, so following along the same kind of suit, I want to talk about a Taiwanese film from 1967, spine number 937, directed by King Hu, and that is Dragon Inn. So this is a classic wuxia genre film. It's kind of put it on the map. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but like I said, I've been watching a lot of martial arts films, so this is an incredible Taiwanese film right here with kind of the framework of what you'd see later on in like the Bruce Lee films, and then all the Golden Harvest and Shawscope types of films. So this is an incredible film about a bunch of sons and daughters coming together and really kind of getting revenge on some power dynamic that happened and the assassins that are coming to kill them, right? So it's a lot of fun. It's all set in Dragon Inn. That's definitely the location that they get to eventually. But I just recently watched this. This is a lot of fun. And I definitely love seeing the skeleton of what this genre would eventually become, and this is definitely the film to watch. So check out Dragon if you've not seen it before. All right, so next we're going to talk about a very serious film, and is also very serious in the sense that this is socially very relevant right now. Even though this film came out in 2007, a lot of events have happened recently where this is unfortunate. But I want to talk about Christian Mungiu's, I hope I'm saying that correctly, 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. Now this is about a woman who's really struggling with the fact that she's going through this abortion process and is very abusive as well. I don't really want to talk too much about it. Like I said, it's very culturally, like contemporarily relevant today. And I highly recommend people check this out. And I hope there's some empathetic voices that come through it as you're watching this very harrowing endeavor that happens on screen. Yeah, definitely recommend this. This is spine number 958, and you won't be sorry if you've not seen this film. All right, so next we're going to go all the way to 2018, so it's probably the most recent film in this list here. This is Spine number 1061, and it is another documentary, just like Hoop Dreams. In fact, it's actually in Rockford, Illinois, really close to Chicago. It's Minding the Gap, directed by Bing Liu. Really phenomenal film about Bing and his friends that he grew up with. It's initially a film about skateboarding and that culture in the 90s, in the late 80s into the 90s. And then it eventually turns out into more of an exploration of family and trauma and the circumstances of what they don't have and what they do have, right? Each other. And very much in kin. It would be a really good double feature with Hoop Dreams, I actually think. But basketball and skateboard, very different, but very 90s, right? But this is an incredible film. It'll make you cry. It'll make you laugh. It's got all the great emotions attached to it. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out Minding the Gap if you've not seen it before. All right, so now we're going to go back in time, and this is the first 4K I want to bring up, and this is one of my favorite 4Ks from Criterion so far. That's why I have it on this list, and it's from 1993. It is Menace to Society. It's a Hugh Brothers film, and man, oh man, I love this film. I really enjoy. I actually was having a really hard time trying to figure it out. But there's the Ice Cube song, Ghetto Bird, that plays at the very beginning of the title sequence, right? As in like the title screen of the Criterion disc itself. And it was like it just, you know, in my system, my home system, it sounded phenomenal, and it looks great too, because this is a 4K, like I said. So anyway, I just want to mention Lawrence Tate is just so great. There's also Tyrone Turner, of course, Samuel Jackson, and even Jada Pinkett Smith. Just Jada Pinkett at this moment. But man, this is like one of my favorite 90s films, and I just recently watched it for the first time. And that's how highly I appreciate this film. It is a really hard movie to watch, right? Once again, dealing with young men and dealing with a very troubling kind of environment, right? And with the resources that they don't have. And how they cope with it, right? And that's kind of what Menace to Society kind of showcases. And it's definitely it's very classic 90s. You can definitely sense the time period that this was made in. It's an incredible film, and it is very much worth your time. Check out Menace to Society if you've not seen it before. All right, so the last 4K on this list is one also from 1993. This is Spine number 1110 and is directed by Jane Campion, and I'm talking about The Piano. So this is an amazing film, a classic film everyone knows of The Piano if you've not seen it before, but it is starring Holly Hunter and Harvey Keitel in the main role. Anna Paquin is also here, Sam Neill. A really fantastic cast, and oh my god, the subtleties in this movie. If you don't really know much about this, it's about a woman who travels to New Zealand. She has lost her ability to speak based on an accident that has happened in her past, and more or less through coercion, she is forced to teach piano to Harvey Keitel, who is initially, not so welcome in Holly Hunter's eyes, but eventually becomes a romance. And Sam Neill happens to be her new husband, but they don't like each other either. So it's a great film. There's a lot of subtleties in it. It's a beautiful film. The 4K is just an absolutely stunning picture. I don't know if I've sold it enough to you, but I definitely highly recommend this 4K. It's one of the best looking 4Ks I've seen thus far. And look at that artwork. That is just stunning. So ton of special features. I haven't even talked about the special features in all these discs, but they're all phenomenal. So check out The Piano if you've not seen it before. All right, so the last film I want to talk about happens to have the word Jones in it, so you might know where I'm going. This is Spy number 1117. Came out in 1997. Apparently I have a 90s kick with this particular list, but this is Love Jones. Directed by Theodore Witcher, and man, this movie... I know I mentioned earlier about like Menace to Society, feeling like the time period, you can sense it just in the filmmaking itself and the things going on around it. This is also that, but in a very different way actually. But the cinematography in this film, the score, the acting, I love the dialogue. The dialogue is incredible in this film. You're just like on the edge of your seat, and like it just drips. I don't know. That's the best way I can describe it. This movie drips. Yeah, it's a phenomenal film, and I was not expecting to love it as much as I did, but that's why I'm bringing it up in this recommendation video, is because it's that incredible. So anyway, those are the films that I want to recommend to you for this upcoming Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble. So the whole month of July. If, like I said earlier, if you're not able to the means to jump into any of this, and there's a few things that you might not want to do, that's totally fine. But I hope hope this list will help you out in your shopping endeavors. I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a like, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.